What's up, Norberg Nation? How's it going? So in today's video, we are going to be reviewing my crazy race at the Newcastle Motorsports Park for the SKUSA Pro Tour. A lot of you guys have already watched this race already, but let me give you a little bit of a backstory and some context to a lot of what was going on before the race. So obviously, I've been on kind of a win streak, and it's been really good for me. The unfortunate part is a lot of people are not liking that, to say the least, and so they do not want me to win, which is obvious, and they want to prevent that as much as possible. So going into this week, I already know that that's a lot of the strategy for these guys, is to try and hold me up as much as possible and to try and create as much chaos as possible to crash me out of the race or just to eliminate me from contention altogether. So this video, we start fourth. It was actually my teammates up in front of me and one other driver, and we just had a lot of speed at this race. We won the pre-final by quite a bit, and so I knew going into this race, this final, that everybody's going to be gunning for my team and for me specifically. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, let's get started with this video. So like I said, we're starting fourth. The pole sitter is doing a nice slow start. That's my teammate Hayden Jones. The unfortunate part is already, you can see I'm already on the brakes super hard. The drivers behind us are just slamming us into the first corner. And right here, I kind of want to go to the inside of my teammate, but the opportunity is not there, and I have to just run really wide. And right here, my teammate gets run off the racetrack, and you can see my other teammate is also getting run off the racetrack. We were all getting pushed super hard into that first corner, and I ended up actually getting a drop down. You can kind of see it on the start. We get going and then stop, and that's where I get a big drop down. I get a half drop down, which is a 3-second penalty. So I'm already starting this race off with a penalty. The one thing I want to say, and I think a lot of drivers struggle with this, but right now you can see my teammate is in the grass. And something that a lot of drivers do is their initial reaction is, okay, let's go to the outside and go around him. The biggest thing is that he's going to come back on the racetrack, and he's not going to be that slow. And so because of that, you have to make sure that you fall back in behind him. Even though he's off the racetrack and this would be a good opportunity to pass him, the smart opportunity and the smart thing to do is to pull back in behind him and just to watch it. So that's something that a lot of drivers struggle with, and it's kind of like seeing the future a little bit. But it comes with experience, knowing that, you know, he's a little bit further ahead. It's probably not good that I go to the outside of him right now. I could kind of tell that he had enough speed coming off of this, you know, in the grass there, that he was going to come back up and still be able to beat me to the corner. So at this moment right here, I decide to, you know, lift, back off, and get back in line instead of trying to challenge him around the outside and risk getting knocked off the racetrack. So like I said, you see he comes back on the racetrack. I backed off and got the back bumper of him, trying to go to the inside of another driver down the straightaway. It's kind of difficult because that inside row gets going so slow when everybody defends that you just really don't get any momentum coming off the corner. So I just ended up staying in the same position, blocking down to this corner. I looked to the inside of 371 there. He cuts it off, and I'm like, I should probably just do it like an over-under. I couldn't clear it completely. Right here, everybody goes to the inside. You see my teammate and a few other drivers getting hung up on the outside. This is the only time, you know, I was like okay doing the outside on this part of the race, just because that it was my teammate on the inside of me. If it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't have gone to the outside. I was already planning on giving the spot to the Burrell driver on my inside. I knew he had the position, so I was just challenging him up around the outside, and then I was going to concede that position and just pick up one spot. It worked, but it was only because it was my teammate, and I knew he wasn't going to drive me off the racetrack. I know everybody else will, but I knew he wouldn't. So I just tried to get, you know, up in front of that. And then as we come out of this corner, right to the inside, you see I go to the outside there. Me and the 340, we both go to the outside there. My other teammate and another driver get tagged, end up spinning out. He keeps going, but it, you know, we had to go around the outside of him. We had to avoid that accident. So those were another 2 positions right there. As I come out of this corner, I get a better run than 340, so I go to the inside of him. And honestly, you know, the start, it was hectic, but I'm not too upset with it. The leaders are pretty far away, but through the pre-final and everything, we had so much speed that I knew that I could run a lot of them down. We've just had a lot of speed in general this whole year, so I know I can run those guys down. Is the only thing that's, you know, disappointing about the start is that half drop down. I know that any way I cut it, I have to have a 3-second gap to whoever. Luckily, I have enough speed that I am able to do something like that, which is not something that happens very often. But I know, you know, I've got to try and get 3 seconds ahead of everything. again, I've always stressed this, you need to be looking past just the guy in front of you. You can see the drivers out front are defending like crazy already. Which is really good for me because that's bringing all those guys right up next to me. I've already caught the 394 right here. I'm going to look maybe down here in this right-hander. He defends it. Again, I'm not going to risk that. The way everybody's been driving me, it's not super smart to put yourself in that tight of a scenario. And then again, there's so much racing left. I mean, this race is 18 laps. The track is a minute and something, long. It's not worth risking it that early. So right here, everybody's kind of getting lined up. The front drivers have stacked it up pretty tight. All the drivers are going down the straightaway. They go to the inside, and this is the one time I go to the outside and I just commit to it. I end up getting 2 drivers right there, and off the exit of the corner, the front driver just drives me into the dirt. That's okay. I had the position, so I wasn't too worried. Right here, we get in the braking zone. The driver behind me just kind of smashes me. Give him a little wave there because that was just unnecessary, but again, I kind of expected it. The one thing that was good about that move to the outside is, you can anticipate everybody slowing down right there. And so you go to the outside and pinch everybody out, and then they're not able to, really do much on the exit. They just don't have the speed or the momentum to run you directly off. The one driver did, but I was already too far alongside him. It didn't really matter that he even ran me off the racetrack. Caught up to my teammate. He's going to signal me to go forward. The issue with that is that there's a lot of drivers breathing down my neck, and I've stressed this so much with a bunch of other videos that I've done. Momentum is key when you're in a situation like this. If you let for a second, half a lap, to be stuck going backwards or just not going forward, or getting stuck behind a driver, you're just going to get past. That's just the way it is. I mean, so you've got to make sure you're going forward constantly. So we're heading down the back straightaway right now, and the saving grace to a lot of this race is that the driver out front, this is my buddy Austin Garrison. He's not super quick right now. He's in race mode. That's what he told me after the race. And he's doing kind of the strategy of, he doesn't have the speed right now, but he's making chaos, and that is allowing him to have opportunities because he's able to just kind of bottle everybody up. And because of that, nobody's really able to get some clean laps going, and they're not able to really show their speed. And so he's really relying on that to keep everybody bunched up, and that's how he's able to stay out front right now. For me, the biggest thing is to let that group spread out a little bit. Once everybody spreads out, that's where I do really well. Right now, the driver in the Burrell goes to the inside there, kind of catches him off guard. And now I'm like, okay, I need to get in front of Austin, the 392. I need to get in front of him because he's wanting to keep everybody back. He's either going to go forward or he's going to want to keep everybody back. I get a good run on the straightaway here, hit the limiter, and right here, I thought it would be a good idea to go down to the inside in the grass. Not the best idea. I didn't think it was going to kick the go-kart that hard, but it did. I mean, when I hit that middle bump right there, I mean, the go-kart shot almost completely sideways. Not the best decision. Luckily, Austin throws it back to the inside of the other driver, runs him off, so that helped me out. I end up still picking up a position. I go to the outside here. My teammate starts pushing me from behind, and we almost clear him. But again, I tried to pinch him down, but I know he's wanting to be, rough. He's wanting me to get dirt on my tires, so I don't want to give that to him, and I want to stay out of that position. Right here, again, I did that crossover earlier and couldn't get it done. Right here, he hits that curb though, and so I know I've got a good opportunity to get that crossover done. We make a little bit of contact right there, but I was able to, get that over-under done off that corner. And then, at this point, my teammates right behind me were 1-2. The slower drivers are behind them. And so that's really good for us because we're able just to keep stretching that out. I know, luckily, that the drivers that were right behind us are really not that fast. And so that's a super big thing. And that's really what you want to make sure of. When you get into a situation like this where there's drivers that are really relying on the chaos and relying on people getting thrown back in the race, you have to get in front of them as soon as possible because that changes your entire race. If you let them create that chaos, you're just going to end up in it, and it's just, you're going to get dirt on your tires, and it's just going to take lap after lap of you not being able to pull away like you need to. The rest of this race, not super interesting. I just kind of check out at this point. They actually start racing again behind me really hard, which allows me to check out even further. I was able to get to like 6-7 second gap, which obviously was enough to make up for the drop down that I had, and I was able to win this race and win the championship, which is an even bigger deal. But overall, that's ideally what you want to do in a situation where you're the fastest guy and everybody is trying to like take you out, you kind of want to let everybody string out, because you can take one cart at a time. That's the biggest thing. Is passing one cart at a time is relatively simple. The biggest problem is when everybody stacks up like that and they're fighting for position, everybody can kind of gang up on you and you can lose 2 or 3 spots in a corner. By staying relaxed and letting everybody else kind of just make their own decisions and just picking off one cart at a time, that's what allows you to really make the difference in one of these races, and allows you to stay out of the dirt, and allows you to stay out of the trouble and the chaos that a lot of these drivers can cause. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, it's always key to let the race spread out and to remember the race is long. So the longer it goes, the more spread out everybody gets and the easier it is to pass a driver. So that's it for this race review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Facebook, and my TikTok. I post a lot of awesome racing content on there as well, so make sure to follow those. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps push this channel to a bunch of other drivers just like yourself, so please make sure you guys like and subscribe. It helps me reach so much of a bigger audience. And then finally, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.